Hi Flosstube, welcome back to my channel, NBC Stitcher. I'm Matt, and this is Augie, and this is episode number 27. Today is Friday, July 9th, 2021. It's been a little bit of time since I did my last video. And that last one, I put it out, I ended up getting it uploaded and publishing it about a week after I did it, so it's been a little bit of time since I filmed and since you've seen anything. But yeah, so let's see. Mostly the reason why things have taken longer is that in May and June, I was in two different trials for work. I was out of town for 2 weeks at a time each time. And it was a lot, and like the first one I went to, I was like, oh, I'll have some time at night, I'll take some different projects, worked on one thing, and that was mostly like on the weekend in between, and so that was the other reason why I haven't really done a video, is because I've been working on only a couple projects, I only have a little bit done, and then I have a lot on one thing, and I thought, well, I'll just wait a little bit longer. Excuse me. But now I've been back for a little bit, kind of recovering, and getting back into the swing of things, working on more stuff. I also finished a big chunk of a project that you'll see, and started working on some other things, so I've definitely got a little bit more to show. I do have a lot to show in the form of haul, because that didn't stop coming, and I've got some of the June stuff, and then some of even the July stuff has started to come, and then I just continued to buy some things, so that'll be showing up. Okay, so first of all, let's see. Well, I do not have any finishes in the sense of like something fully done, so I don't have that to show, but I have finished a couple parts of some things, so I will show that. First of all, I did this a while ago, so as you all may or may not know, Forest Embroidery is a design company. They also produce kits of their products, and they have their own flosses, and then they don't do hand-dyed fabric, but they use Swagart fabric in their kits. They are a Russian company, and you can order from them and it gets here. I know Julie has talked about them a lot recently. It takes a while to get here from them. They also do online or downloadable patterns that you can buy online. And they do some free stitch-alongs that they put out, and they're currently doing one that is Alice in Wonderland themed. I'm not participating in that one, but the one they did last, which was at the end of last year, I think about maybe September or August of last year, was the 100 Owls. And the way they do it is they put out a part, and then 2 weeks later they put out a new part. Well, I started around the time it started, but I kind of fell off because I had a lot of other things going, and this was not something. But I have finished part 1, which is this giant great horned owl that's in the middle, and I'm doing it with the DMC that they called for instead of their own flosses. But this is how I have the whole thing. I had the owl done 2 weeks ago, and then I actually finished the rest of the wreath around him and the flowers and all of that, so that I've got everything now. There's a little mark down here, there's a little X, that's just my middle point, but I put that in there because I was having to count off of it. And then this is on 40 count for doll, which is an even weave, and I'm using 1 strand over 2, and then this is in Tree Hugger, which is the name of it. It's kind of coming a little darker. I'm sorry my light is not great at this point, but this is what I have to work with. So this is where we're at. this is from Vistitch Me, the fabric, and then so I finished the first one. I'm still gonna I'm gonna work on it more, and get a couple more in. There's only one owl that's bigger than that one. There are 100. They're not 100 different owls. A bunch of them there are the same one over and over, but yeah, they definitely have some overlap there. But that one I finished, and then are you okay? Yeah. The other part the big thing I've been working on is this, the Dark Queen of the Sea, Stitch Along from Autumn Lane Stitchery, and then the fabric, and it's done in conjunction with Under the Sea Fabrics. This is on 32 count Joblin from Leslie Under the Sea Fabrics in the called for Bewitched, which is a nice, beautiful fabric. And so I've done a lot since you've last seen this. And yeah, so first of all, I came back up here and I did manta rays in the corners instead of which is an adaptation of the corners that are there. But I changed the outside color to be it's the dark navy etoile, which is also that I used in the swirl. So I used that, I carried that over into the outside of the manta rays, and did that. So I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out and like that. And then, so the other part, then after that, there was the trident and some of the coral over here that came out, and I have gone through and done that. Now, I have modified my trident. We've got, so the look that I'm going for is that she is corrupting or changing the trident by, close to her with the swirl up here, and then the tentacle around it here is also doing it. So I kind of marked around and changed some of the colors, and then have like a part where it's like a mix of the original color, which you have at the bottom there, and then the corrupted color. I just picked out some, there's a different color petite treasure braid, and then the one that I used up here, which is the Venetian gold or Vatican, whatever the other one, not the bright yellow gold, but the like lighter gold, that's in there as well. And then I also went through and put some of the light blue ice color petite treasure braid that's in the swirl. I just put some top stitches throughout. You can't really see it, but you can see it in person. But yeah, it's really pretty. And then I will adjust the back stitch around it once we get that to the colors to make it kind of add to that. So then we had part 9 and 10, which was 9 was this big chunk of tentacle, and then 10 was this part. And I got those finished this last week. Wednesday night, I think I finished both of them. But yeah, this is a lot of stitching. And then part 11 came out, which is a tentacle remnant or other part over here, which is actually kind of the smallest one. So that's nice, but it's still about, I think, 2,500 stitches or something along those lines. I have not started it yet. After I got 9 and 10 finished, I pulled it off the Q-snap and ironed it out, and then put it on the board so that I could talk about it, and didn't want to get back to work on it yet. Hey, can I'm gonna put you down, okay? Yeah. Okay, thank you. So much hair. And it's going to be even crazier because, so I talked about a few months ago, I made a present for my boyfriend, and then we have had, he is coming this weekend and he is bringing his dogs, and they are going to meet for the first time. So we're gonna see how that goes. Hopefully it goes great. He also has 2 corgis corgis are crazy, so we'll figure out. But I think it'll be okay. We'll see. But yeah, so it's a little, but I don't think there's gonna be a place in my house that doesn't have dog hair on it after this weekend, because That's definitely a thing. All right. Okay, so the next project, one of the projects that I worked on, and I didn't do a whole lot on this, but I did work on it some. This is Watermelon by Stitchy. This is one of the companions to Blueberry. The only one that's currently available, but I think that there will be a pineapple coming at some point. And so here is where I got to. And this is with the called for DMC on a 32 count Lugana. I think it's Bewitched by Vistitch is definitely the designer, fabric dyer. And then yeah, so I've just been working. This is her. It very much is like the rind of the watermelon on the part of her shawl, I guess, or part of her clothes. And so I've been working on that, and really, I worked on it a little, but I was mostly focusing on the Dark Queen. So I did a little bit on this one, but it was definitely not a huge amount of progress. But yeah, I am enjoying Watermelon, but I'm trying to get more progress on some of my other projects, so I'm not spending as much time on her, but I do really like her. Okay. Oh, I did a little bit more on this little one. So this is Strawberry Cow by Tiny Modernist. It was one of the expo patterns where lots of people were doing, lots of designers were doing patterns with the same kind of color palette and the same threads, the silky threads, and cow themed. And I got this one and a couple others, and I started this one first, and so I got a little bit further. So added in more of the black, got this other spot in, and then some of the white, and then this is a chicken body up here. So you can see how far we're at. And this is on a 32 count Lugana in, it's not named. This is one of Jody's fabrics. So from Steel City Stitchers, Jody fabric, her fabric of the month. You get 2 8s, and you just get colors. She sends colors. It's not really specific. And there's not names on these ones. So, but it is with there are sulky threads that I'm using on this, which I've really enjoyed. The white was not, it's good. It's just, I really like the black, and I like the way the black looks on this fabric, and the way the coverage you get with it. But with the white, it was still a little, it wasn't as full as I wanted it. So I'm going to continue to play around with it, but I really have enjoyed using it. You just take it off the spool. There's no separating, and one strand, and this is 12 weight sulky. One strand is equivalent to 2 strands of DMC or thereabouts, and so for a 32 count, I'm just using 1 strand. Also, some of it is variegated or blended, or blendable, I think is what they call it, but it is. And so trying to do that, 2 strands of that would be kind of difficult, or you're going to have things that are not quite the same, versus if you use like a silk that you have multiple strands on, you can kind of work that way. Anyway, that's not really here nor there, but I have been doing a little bit on that and continuing on that to, that was one of the things that I worked on after I finished Dark Queen, and I just wanted to get something a little bit further. Okay, and now I have also done a little bit more on my Forest of Sumatra by Ink Circles. This is what it will look like. And here is where I am. So I did some more here on this triangle. I didn't do all of this, but I definitely worked up the side and some more. This is on 36 count linen in Toast by Vistitch Me, and then with the called for Gloriana silk 2/1 or 2/2 on the 36 count. I really enjoy this a lot. one of the things, I'm going to talk about some different floss tubers that I have been catching up on and finding. One of which is Daybreak Stitcher, Nithya. She does like a monthly recap video, but she restarted this, and she's using, I think it's Bejeweled from Classic Colorworks, and that was, on hers, well, it looks very, I have not seen the actual floss in person, but it looks very close to this, but it's a cotton, but it's really pretty. I love this, and she had shouted me out, and somebody mentioned that, so that's how I found her. So if anybody does, if you're found me because you watched somebody else and they mentioned me, please let me know, because I don't necessarily catch all of it, and I would really like to either return the favor or thank them that way. So I really enjoy this project a lot, and I've taken this with me a couple times now to my family functions when we had we didn't do 4th of July yet. I know that was last weekend, but we're doing stuff this weekend for it. But we did like Memorial Day and Father's Day. We did stuff over at my grandparents, and we'll eat, and then we have like games and stuff. And most of my family has been very into talking about the Netflix show that's about Formula One racing, I think. Some kind of racing. I'm not interested in it. I don't watch it, but lots of the family is watching it, except for like me and my grandmother, and so I've pulled this out and started working on it, and while we're playing dominoes or we're playing something, and I'm like multitasking, but yeah, so I've done a little bit, but not a huge amount of progress. That's really been where I've worked on it. So but I do love this pattern, and it's definitely one that I want to keep as a high priority. Now, I will tell you, this was one that I had on my Whip Go goals, and I met it, and it was to finish like 3 pages or their equivalent, and I have done more than that now. But as you will notice, I haven't said anything else about Whip Go because I haven't really worked on it that much, either my June or even now my July goals. Kind of behind on a lot of stuff in that regard, and Dark Queen is not on the board, but I have set up a rule for the parts that I finish I can replace out and kind of use that as credit. The credit is I say I accomplished it, but I just wanted to do, I'm figuring out how to set goals like this and keep up with them so that I make progress and I don't just get discouraged, if that makes sense. I definitely set some pretty ambitious goals at the beginning of this year and adjusted them, but we'll definitely change that up for next year too. And I think there are a lot of things that I want to work on, and I'm just trying to figure back out how I'm going to do all that. Because, there's only so much time, but I want to stitch everything, and I want to get everything to the point where it's done. But the other thing is Dark Queen is probably the closest thing I have to a finish, even though we don't have the final part of the back stitching and the beads yet. But I think continuing to focus on her, I will be finished with her, if not September, then October. So that is keeping me kind of motivated. I'm getting close to a finish, and that is pushing me in that one. Most of my other projects, especially my big projects, are just not near that. I guess that Strawberry Cow is close if we're talking number of stitches, because there's not a whole as many in that one. But anyway, okay, so one Whip Go goal that I have worked on is my Long Dog sampler. This is Castles in the Air, and I'm doing this on 32 count toast linen by Vistitch Me, and I'm using Silks for You PR075, which is a very beautiful electric blue color, and it has a slight variegation to it, but not really enough that I don't really pay attention to it to like try to, it just goes a little lighter and darker. So it's really pretty. I love it. I had I had this owl done and part of this, and so I have done all of this in the last couple days, and then the little snails on either side. I've also done those, but I purchased, I didn't print out the picture, but there's a new long dog sampler that came out a couple weeks ago that I purchased. I didn't buy it immediately, but then I decided I needed to, and I was trying to figure out, and then I was thinking, I have all these ones that I have either purchased or started, and I'm nowhere close to finishing any of them, and I really do need to work on this. So that kind of pushed me to get this back out and to work on it some more. And I'm not that far from the top now. There's like a crown up here and then the border. So I'm trying to get this center castle finished and get up to the top is kind of my immediate goal to where I want to get to. And then I'm going to keep working on this, some of the other castles up here, I think, and then fill in some of the back stitching as I go. Or black work, I guess, is really what it is, not back stitching. But I haven't felt like pulling this out, but now that I have been, it's been really pretty quick, and I really do like it. There is a lot of black work on this one that is kind of in the part down here that I had worked on the center page that really kind of I wasn't feeling, and so that was part of why I think I was kind of wanting to move on to something else. But there's less up here. There's still some, but there's definitely less, and I'm just kind of getting up, trying to get what I can get done and get some more progress on this. Because this is part of, so I started this as part of Long Dog Leap Day, Sal. I don't stitch on the 27th or 28th of every month, but it's kind of, I would like to have this done by the next leap year. I started it this last year, 2020, so I would like to have it done in 2024. That's doable, but I do need to focus on it, and I actually need to stitch on it if I want to get that done. So yeah, I've been enjoying it. I'm definitely going to keep working on this some more. And that is the extent of what I've actually stitched on. As I said, most of what I worked on was Dark Queen. That's a lot of stitches. That was mostly what I worked on during my second trial. Not very much at night, like one length maybe I would get through before I crashed out and fell asleep or something along those lines. So I do have some haul to show if you're interested in that, and then I have a little bit of book talk at the end as well. So yeah, it's full. Okay, first of all, I will show, this is kind of a haul / plans, but this was, so I have both the June and July Fabric of the Month from Jody, Steel City Stitchers. So first of all, they're all 32 count Lugana, and this is a beautiful coral colored piece that I got, and I figured out what I'm going to do with it, so I'd show you that. I purchased Blue Velvet from Ink Circles, which is a beautiful mandala, and I'm going to use the called for Sulky Threads, which is this beautiful variegated blue here, and that's going to be what it is. So I think it's going to look great. This is probably something I will start sooner rather than later, but yeah, I am very interested in that one. I think that may be the only one that's like plans, so the rest I'm just going to be showing stuff. Okay, I placed an order with Fortnite Fabrics a while ago, and then I think I just ordered this one piece of 36 count. It's a fat quarter, and this is moccasin from their first collection that they put out, and it's 36 count linen. You're gonna say there's a lot more linen that I've been getting. Part of it is a couple of reasons. First of all, I really liked it on the, as you can see, it's a nice neutral with some good variegation to it. Very like parchmenty look to it. Yeah. This is moccasin. They have one that's a little more tan called Caravan Tan, and you can see a good version of that. Julie, Kansas City Girl in the Colorado World, is doing that one, using that to do her Modern Folk Embroidery 2021 sal on it. So go look at that if you're looking for what some of their fabrics look like. I think hers is on 40 count, but it's still really pretty. But yeah, I've purchased some. I've just done, that's just kind of been what I've been doing. Some of it you get a deeper color, I like that, and some of it is just, I felt like getting some more linen versus something else. So let's go through, okay, so my other Jody fabrics that I got, there was she sent me a little extra piece this month. I don't know where the other one went. Hold on. Hold, please. That's last month's. Oh, well, those are kind of similar, but that's okay. I kind of like some greens. Okay, so I got this last month as well with the coral one, this nice green color. And then I purchased, or she sent me, I got mine for this month yesterday, and there's this beautiful purpley gray color, beautiful modeling. Definitely have something to figure out something for that. And then this beautiful pink, light pink. I don't think I have anything like that. Beautiful modeling as well. And these are all Lugano, 32 count. And then another green. It's pretty similar to the last one, but it's like you got a bonus color, so which is nice. And I love Jody; she's amazing. They, if you are fans of the Steel City Stitchers, go watch their last video. They made an announcement at the end about something that they're doing in the future, a Stitch Day in Pittsburgh, which sounds really fun. So go list. They put up. There's some information about it, and then the signups will be soonish. But go watch their video to figure it out. It's at the end, so if you watch the stitching part and then checked out, well, you probably aren't here. But if you are, you may want to go back and watch that. Okay. Let's do. Okay, I did participate in Vistitch Me's summer box, but I did just the fabric and silks option this time. And I did 36 count linen because I knew there would be kind of like some vibrant colors and I wanted it vibrant instead of muted. So even though this one is actually kind of more of a neutral, this is wet sand. It's a beautiful piece of linen. And then we have Aegean, which is a beautiful turquoisey blue, very much like the Greek Sea. It seems to be showing up a little darker on the video, most of these do, so they're pictured a little bit brighter. And then this is Marine, which is another bright, this is a little bit more bright tealy color. It's also gorgeous, love that. 36 count linen. And then this is Punch, which is a beautiful purple and pink and peach, gorgeous color. I really love that. So she has some really great ways of doing different colors, you know, multicolored, I guess. I'm gonna call it. And then I got the silks as well, and it did come with the pattern that she had charted up, but it's just the pattern, so I'm not going to show that. So I got 50 yards of Atlantis, which is a beautiful green and teal, and then there's 10 yards of Beachy, beautiful Siren, 10 yards, Kelp, so that's a kind of dusty green, pink sand, kind of a peachy sand color, coral, which is a variegated light to dark coral color, Eldorus, I don't know how to say that. It's a nice seafoamy green, Bering Sea, which is a nice blue, and then Sandbox, which is a nice color as well. So yeah, those silks are gorgeous. I'm gonna have like a full line, not really, but I'm getting close. So that was the, and then there was some candy in there as well. But yeah, that's the summer fabric box. I believe she still does have some of the fall and autumn ones, and maybe Halloween we're still up on the website, so you can check those out. And there will be a fabric Friday night fight night tonight, if that is something that, if I don't know that this will go up in time for you to see that, but that's possible. Okay, the next thing, I purchased this on Amazon. So I had been trying to figure out what was the first project I ever worked on. I never finished it. I worked on it for like a week, and then I never worked on it again. I don't know where it is. This was when I was a kid. I was probably late elementary, early middle school maybe. My aunt did a lot of plastic canvas needlepoint, but she knew how to cross stitch, and we would often, my aunt lived with my grandmother, and we would often, when I would spend time at my grandmother's house in the summer, I would, we would go to Hobby Lobby and get some stuff, or kind of like keep me busy or whatever. But one time I got a couple cross stitch kits, the first time I got cross stitch, and I started to work on one, and then I realized I was wrong and I was trying to fix it, and then I got frustrated, and then I don't know whatever happened to it. I didn't work on it again. The next year I got some new kits, and I do have those, or that one, but yeah, I have not worked on or seen it. And I was trying to remember all of what it was, because I knew it was kind of a collage of different animals, and I knew there was an orca. I was pretty sure it was a Dimensions kit, but it could have been one of the other brands that was available in the mid-90s. But I was kind of searching online, and I think I found it. So I ordered a copy of it. It's out of print. It is a Dimensions kit, and it is called Nature's Beauty, and it's designed by Michael Adams. And so this, I'm pretty sure, is what it was. And so it's a bunch of animals, and they all seem to be black and white, and that's the theme, because there's not like a whole lot of else that's in common between a jaguar, an orca, and a penguin, or black bear, or crane, or all the other stuff that's on here. There's a Arctic fox, there's some ermine or zebra. There's a lot of different stuff, a lot of different animals here, but yeah, I found this on Amazon. Somebody was selling it used, and everything was there, and they had already sorted out all the floss, so it's like, well, that's easy. But it had been opened, but it had not been stitched on, and there's the original fabric and everything in there. So I'm definitely going to do this at some point, but I also just wanted to have it. I don't have any immediate plans to start this anytime soon. I probably will not do it on the white fabric, but then I'll have to get some white to stitch, because some of the stuff that uses the fabric is kind of the white of the moon, I think, and some other stuff, but I can figure that out. So yeah, I found that. I'm pretty sure that was the one that I stitched on, and then I don't know where it is. I don't think it's in my parents' house. I have no idea what happened to it. Okay, I did get my Fortnite Fabric of the Month for June, and this is Key and Peele. I'm in the Famous Duos, which is a multicolored group, and so this is kind of a light green and a purple mix to it, or blue and purple kind of modeling to it, which is very pretty. Like that a lot. And also 32 count Lugana, fat quarter. Another. And then my Vistitch Me Fabric of the Month for June. I got Neptune, and these are on Joe Blend, but still 32 count. Beautiful Neptune. I don't think this is a new color. I think she had this, but I enjoy all of her stuff. And then the neutral club was Grog, which is a nice sandy neutral color. And yeah, so some beautiful modeling on that. Really do like that. And then, yeah. And okay, I participated in the bag sale from Garon Toten Bags, and got a couple things. So they did this beautiful O Feather bag that is for the O Feathers project. It has beautiful inside peacock fabric. So yeah, I definitely grabbed one of these, and I got the, I think it's 13 by 13, 13 by 12, something like that. So it'll fit, an 11 by 11 will fit in it. And yeah, I also, they had state bags and they had Oklahoma. And I didn't get on right when this happened. I was a little late to the party, but I did get me an Oklahoma bag. So, which is, so let me show you on this side. So we've got different places. What's this? So we've got the Golden Driller, which is here in Tulsa. You've got the Arcadia Round Barn, Sequoia's Cabin, the Rose Stone is our state rock, but I don't know why there's a rose. I didn't think that was our state. Anyway, there's some bison, yeah, but it's, and the scissortail flycatcher, that's our state bird. If you want to know what Oklahoma's state vegetable is, it's the watermelon. Not a vegetable, but that's our state. So we have a lot of state things. The legislature has been active in passing those things over the years and creating it into law that way. But yeah, okay. So and the shipping from Gary and Ronnie is always amazing. They're great, and they do their bag sale about once a month, and then they have a lot of other stuff on Garon Stitchery. So go give them a check out too. Okay, I did get my nest egg from Trisha at 3 Owl Threads. And so I'm going to go through these and let you know what because they have names. There are names for them, but the name is not written on here. It's just a number. So this is 1109, which is Lemon Ice, which is a beautiful lemon to like yellow to pale yellow variegation. This is 11583, which is Kaylee's Cranberries. Beautiful dark variegated cranberry color. 10011 Lavender Fields. This is a nice light kind of taupey lavender, light purple, dusky purple. 10372. This is Caleb's Cherry Patch, which is a nice mix of a brown to a cranberry or cherry looking red. 1108, which is lemon meringue, and so this goes to a darker yellow, but also goes to that light pale yellow variegation. 1046 lemongrass, which is a beautiful green, little bit of dark green, but to a nice lime yellow green. 11212, which is lava rocks, which it has like, so it's like a charcoal, and then it's got kind of a gray to it and a darker but almost like a brown tint to it on some of it. It's pretty cool. 1128 legacy, which is a purple, a light purple. Looks a little bit more like Lavender Fields, this one, than the other one, but okay. I don't know that the other one would be Legacy. 1063. Okay, I think this is Emerald, which was not in the last one. I think that was what that was, because there's a written Emerald on it. 10811, which is Lady Slipper. And that's a beautiful, so it's a, I would call this like an Easter color palette. It's very like yellow, well no, there's like like a light green and a pink and kind of variegation in between. It's really pretty. It's very pastel-y, very spring. 11511. This is Jamrock, which is a very, so it's a green, red, and orange and yellow kind of variegation to it. It's real pretty. There's a lot of different colors in that. Kind of reminds me of like a macaw or a jungle looking palette with lots of bright colors and very, very nice that way. Okay, only a couple more things. I did participate in one of the Friday Night Fight Nights a while ago. I think it was in May maybe, and I got this gorgeous piece of 40 count linen in reef. This is one of Brandy's great colors where she does a whole bunch of different things on it, and I really loved it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try 40 count linen. I've got 40 count even weave, but let's see, and we'll see if it's gorgeous. The colors are so pretty. I really love it. So definitely great. And then the only other thing, this is actually Stitchy kindness, sort of. Well, yeah, my grandmother is a stitcher, and we have two of my cousins are pregnant with babies that'll be born this year in the next 6 months. And so she has been working on baby things, like some bibs or some stuff where she's cross-stitching, but she is very much an Aida only stitcher. She has in the past tried linen and hated it and didn't want to do it, and never tried even weave, but the doing over two is what she doesn't like. So she had some linen that she found in her stash, and she was like, I'm not going to use this, do you want it? It's like, sure, I'll take it. I don't know what count it is. It's probably 28, just because she's mostly a 14 count Aida person, but maybe it's different. Anyway, it's just a nice cream, like antique-y white kind of color, maybe. There's no name of whose it is or whatnot. I just know she bought it at one point and then decided not gonna stitch on linen. So she gave it to me. I might try maybe dyeing some, maybe at some point. I don't know. I've never really, we'll see. But that's the extent of the haul. I have tried to slow down a little maybe, but not really. I've also had some like, okay, I'm bored, I've just been working so much, I just need to go spend some money. And so I bought some stuff. Some of that you've seen, some of that is coming. So there's gonna be probably some more haul if that's something you like seeing. I was watching the Steel City Stitchers, and they were talking, Jody was talking about the sulky threads, and I had looked around, and I bought a couple. I have some. I have like particular packs for certain projects, and started to use those, and I liked it. But I was like, you know, what is there, like, can you get like a bigger pack of them or a bigger set to work with? And I was just kind of Googling around, and it popped up at Target. It's not like, it's like sold through Target's website, but it's like a partner thing. But I can use my Target card, and I get 5% off and free shipping. I was like, oh, and it was like $95, but you get like, I calculated if you paid per spool, the spool price on Sulky's website, it was like 135 or 100, somewhere around there is like how many it would have been, how much it would have been instead of this group. And it's some of the blendables, but mostly a bunch of their solid colors. And I was like, no, I'll wait. And then I was watching that video, and Jody said she bought the whole thing, the whole line. And I was like, oh. It's like, it's great. She loved it. She's loved it. She's really enjoying it. Like, yeah. Okay, so last night I went and I ordered that. So that'll be here too. You'll see that at some point. And it's kind of in a case where, like, a bobbin type case, so it's all like in there. It's not exactly like a bobbin, but you know, it's for that. So that, and I've just bought some other patterns and stuff, so we'll see some things. Oh, I mentioned, I bought that new long dog samplers, the pointed fifth or 5/5 points. I don't. It's in another language, and I don't remember what the actual name of it is, but it's really beautiful. I have a plan. I already have, I think, the hank that I'm going to use to do most of the border, and then there's different animals that I'm going to do in different colors specific to the animal. And so that's kind of the plan, and it's really big though. You need like at least a half of a yard. It's gonna fit on a half on 36 count, but I didn't look at it if it was gonna do 32, but yeah, it's a lot. So yeah, but the yeah, it's a really beautiful piece, and I want to get some more progress on the ones that I already have started. I did decide that I'm not planning to do Pandemic really, at least not now. I had kitted it up, and then I decided, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm more interested in doing some of the other ones, and it's really beautiful, but it's also like, I don't know that I want that kind of, I don't know. It's not that I want that kind of reminder of that year, but it's also just a little, it's a lot. And some of the other pieces that I have, some of the other patterns speak a little bit more to me. And so, you know, that piece is so big, I don't want to like invest that much into it if I don't really want to do it. So I'm not, it was free pattern. I'm gonna use the fabric and probably the floss for something else. But that's kind of where I'm at this point on those things. So, and then, okay, a little bit of book talk. And really before I get to the book talk, I have a little bit of book haul that I was going to show. So I purchased the 10th edition, 10-year anniversary edition of the Stormlight Archives first book, The Way of Kings. And it's like a leather-bound fancy edition. I don't have a whole lot of those, but I do like those, but they're not, it's a 2-volume book. It was the thing. Brandon Sanderson, which is the author, he has done several of these for several of his series, and then they got to the point where they were going to do Stormlight, and they were like, this book is too long to do in a normal leather-bound edition. Do we think that people will buy it if it's a double, like it's 2 volumes? I don't know if people want to do that. So then they weren't sure, so they put it up on Kickstarter, and Kickstarter was those of us that love that series were like, yeah, of course we want that. Yes, I don't care that it's 2 volumes. That's beautiful. Yes. And so it like made it. It reached its goal super fast, like a couple days, and then they extended it. There were more people. So originally it was to get your copies by Christmas. But the people that were later, it was, you'll get it sometime in this next year, because we're trying to get, and there's delays, there's, pipeline issues with lots of different areas, and so there's a lot to do, and I just knew I wanted it. I didn't care that it had to be after Christmas. That's fine with me. But on the Kickstarter program, you get different like swag or different things if you sign up for different levels. And they've sent like, I showed there's the little short story, the novella that goes with it, and then there's a copy of the original version of Way of Kings before he rewrote it, that was never published, but they've put it out, so you can get an idea. This is kind of the same world, and then the characters, but they're different, and then I got some more swag, so I wanted to show that. Some of this I'm going to turn into some needle minders, but so in this world of the Stormlight Archive, there are people that can use their version of magic. It's called investiture, but it's essentially like they're magic users, and they are people that form a bond with a Spren is the name of the creature, but it's kind of like, it's not really like a fairy, but you can kind of think of it that way, without having to get all into it. But anyway, so there are 10 orders of these Knights Radiant, or the name of the organization, and they can do different things. But their bond with the different Spren allows them to do different things. And they... They... so there's different versions of it. Well, when I got swag, I had to pick a particular order of the Knights Radiance of things that you wanted their version of, and there's different ones. They have kind of different personalities. There's different, anyway, I went with the Else Callers, which are these. This is the like artwork that depicts them. They have they are they can do what's it called? I can't remember the word specific to this world, but they can turn one substance into something else. And like they can turn a boulder into mist or smoke, or they can turn the air into a rock or something along those lines. And then their other ability, it involves separating things down and just like not really destroying them, but anyway, one of the characters that's throughout most of the books, Yasna, she is a princess of one of the main countries. She is an Else Caller, and when I was going through them, I didn't want to pick the Wind Runners because that's the main character, and they are great. I really like them, but I didn't want to pick that because it was like everybody would pick that, or that's like the main one, that people would go with. So I want to do something different, but you get different things. You get some stickers. They give you a patch with their emblem on it. I got playing cards with themed with the Stormlight Archive. They gave us, so they called it challenge coins, and so I think the idea, and I think this is based in like our but it's not a pin, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like I'm not sure, but I don't want to speak about it because I don't really know, but I'm pretty sure that it has the symbol, and then it has the patron. Deity's not the right word, but something like that. The patron of their organization, and then we also got one that has. We got a little badge that has a. What's that called? A cave. No. There are these big, like, bug-like monsters that they fight on this world, and this is one of them. I can't think of the name of it, though, but it's in the first book a lot. The Cavern Beast, I think that's what it is. And then you get another coin that says, one can have a wit, but not a witless. And so there's a character that's named Wit, and so he's on the front, and then Witless is just blank, which is really cool. And then there's some other, like, there's a pin of the El's collar, so I'm going to probably turn that into a needle minder, but I need to get that taken off. And then this is kind of that's the diagram of the different groups of the Knights Radiant. And there's just different, like, so Journey Before Destination is part of their comments. There are these stickers for Chromatic Chicken Scouts. So, oh yeah. So this world doesn't really have, like, bird species in general, but there are a few, but they all call them chickens because they have chickens, like, to eat and to raise and to do that. It's kind of a delicacy and a rarity because it's not native to this planet, but they have, like, but they don't have a bird species. They didn't have it before the chickens came, or before the people that brought the chickens. But, like, there wasn't, so they call, like, all of the bird type things chickens. So chromatic chicken, it's a parrot. I mean, it, you know, that kind of thing. And then there's, like, an epic bookmark that you get. Yeah, it's just really cool. A lot of different swag and everything. So I don't have my actual copy yet, but I got the last of the swag, I think, from that. So there's that. Last bit is actual book talk. So this may be kind of a rerun because I think I've talked about this before, but with not a lot of stitching time, I also didn't have a lot of downtime to read or to listen to books. So I haven't done a whole lot with that, except I reread a series that I loved and haven't read for a while, and I really enjoyed getting back to it. And I've talked about this before, but this is A Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan. This is the first book in her series. It's The Memoirs of Lady Trent is the name of the series, and it's written as a memoir of Isabella Camhurst Trent. She becomes Lady Trent later on, but you know that it's Lady Trent because she talks about that. But it's kind of her as an older woman writing her memoirs about her adventures, becoming a natural historian, and all of that. And she's really interested in dragons and has been for most of her life, and just the different, it's kind of like a Victorian style world that she's in. It's not our world, but there are definitely, like, civilizations and peoples that are kind of like ours. So she is from Skierland, which is kind of pretty much like England. It seems like a Victorian era 1800s England. There are other countries that exist in this world that have very similarities to our countries and peoples. There's Yelang, which seems to be very much like China, and just a lot of different things. But she goes all over their world searching for different kinds of dragons and learning about them. And so there are 5 books in the series: Natural History of Dragons, The Tropic of Serpents. She goes to Bayembe, which is like, it seems like it's a sub-Saharan Africa, or maybe North Africa in some ways, but they have just some different kinds of dragons there, and she has interactions with the dragons. And then the people of Moulin, which is kind of like a jungle place, and there's swamp worms there that she gets in touch with. Then the Voyage of the Basilisk, which is the 3rd book. She goes to she goes all over the world, and she is reading and researching about and studying sea serpents. And there's some issues: are those dragons, are they not? And then kind of putting them into that category. She also meets an archaeologist named Suhail in this book that is important as well. And they go to different places, and I don't really, I guess it's so the place that they're in the longest is called Kayonga, and it's kind of, I don't know, it seems like kind of a mix of Polynesia or that kind of area, maybe, but I'm not sure. But it's really interesting. And then there was Labyrinth of Drakes, where she goes to Ahia, which is, I think, kind of like Arabia, the Middle East, and she finds the fire drakes of the desert. And then finally, the last book of her series is called Within the Sanctuary of Wings. And she goes to I can't think of the mountain range name in this world, but it's kind of like the Himalayas, and it's definitely like, it's bordering Yelang, the Chinese area. So in this world, there's, over the course of the books, you see a big tension running between Skierland and different countries, and then towards the end, it's definitely Yelang, which is the Chinese equivalent, and they're kind of vying for world prominence, and but yeah, it's a very good series. I really enjoy it. I love her. The audio book narrator for these is Kate Redding, who does The Wheel of Time and Stormlight Archive, and is just a great narrator. And I love her anyway, and that's actually how I found this series, was I was looking for more stuff that she did on audiobook, and so I loved it. So I've redid those, and then there's a newer book called Turning Darkness into Light. It's also by Marie Brennan. This is set a couple decades after Sanctuary of Wings, and these are memoir style books. Like, it's Isabella writing back, like, I thought this and this happened, and this is in the style of journal entries or letters, and so you kind of, it's like a primary source type for the most part. There's some like actual like, well, no, I mean, it's just like from the diary of Audrey Camhurst, and then like or letters to her sister or whatever. Audrey is Isabella's granddaughter. Audrey is a philologist, and in this world that means speaking or understanding the ancient language of the Draconians, which are a ancient civilization that spanned most of the world, and there's interactions between humans and dragons in that, and so throughout this series, they do get to the point where they can read, and they figured out how to decipher Draconian. And so a couple decades later, Audrey is a Draconian scholar, and she is being engaged to translate a new epic story that's been found on tablets, and there's political implications and all that. So part of what's really interesting about this world is there is a interplay between countries, between scholars and their ability to form societies, and then something else. It's a very big interaction between the two. It's interesting. It's not, I think it's kind of reminiscent of some of the way, like, some of Victorian England kind of was, but they're also the main religion of Skierland seems to be involving a scholastic approach to their religion, or like it's very different. So it places, it's kind of interesting because you have this fantasy world that is not related to ours at all, but has kind of like similarities, and then the way she's kind of developed their culture is very interesting to see, how that is impacted. I mean, it's all fiction, but it's just, it's one of those things where, like, this is kind of why I like fantasy series, fantasy authors, and you can explore a lot about our world and about our lives through looking at a completely fake one, but made by people a person that grew up and lived from ours. Anyway, but yeah, it's a great series. I really enjoyed it, and I've finished it, and I'm started reading a new book with Julie that just came out Tuesday. So I'm excited, and I will talk about that the next time. But I hope you all have great and amazing weekends, and I will definitely be back sooner. I'm probably going to work on Dark Queen again, but even if that's the only thing I'm showing, and like a couple other things, I will have more to show. And that last part, it seems to go pretty quickly. So maybe not next week, but 2 weeks probably. That would be a good weekend for me to film. So anyway, hope you all have a great one, and I will see you all later. Bye!